I think for me, I'd like to be able to apply my technical background to financial markets. I think there's a lot more room to do that now, and that's where the industry is moving. When we have, data-driven strategies and way of thinking, I think that is very important, especially when you're trying to make decisions, quantitative decisions. And another thing is, my goal is just, even though I'm 3 years into it, but I want to learn from the best in the industry. And I think working at Deutsche has given me that opportunity and that exposure as well. So I get into the office before 8 o'clock, usually, just to prepare before market opens, make sure all the pricing is correct. And then what I do is I make markets for 91 ETFs listed in Hong Kong and Singapore. So they track equity indices, countries, regions, styles, or inverse or leveraged ETFs. And I'm constantly quoting a bid and ask price, so providing liquidity so that other participants can trade. And this includes managing my continuous quotes and making sure we're making the correct price or fair price, and then also helping our sales when they get larger orders from clients. We will price up a block trade for them, so we allow clients to get exposure to what they want through ETFs. Usually after the market close, there's some end of day reporting that we need to go through, make sure all our positions and all our trades are booked properly. And usually it depends on the day. If it's very busy, then it could be maybe a couple hours after Singapore closes at 5 o'clock. And sometimes we would have trades to hedge our risk in other markets, because even though the instrument's listed in Singapore, it might track India, which closes at 6 o'clock Hong Kong time or something like that. I think something that's very interesting is when you're working in Asia, and I know I speak to my counterparts that work in London and New York as well, and although they have bigger markets, more flow, I think the interesting about working in Asia is that in Hong Kong you get to be the hub of all of these 19 different different regimes. So you have all the different countries here with different regulatory structures, different market structures, and many of them are not that liquid yet. So there's a lot of nuances to each market that you need to pay attention to. A big thing in Hong Kong is obviously the access to China, onshore mainland China. And one of the interesting experiences that I had was in 2015 when the China market stock rout happened and there were a lot of names suspended in the underlying instruments. How do we price up that risk? How do we manage it? So thinking about what your exposure and what your risk is, and how thinking of ways that you can mitigate them and hedge them is, I think, one of the biggest challenges, but probably the most fun part of the job. I think it's important to understand where it's going. So I think for me, I studied engineering. I'm not saying that that is, the background they're looking for now, but definitely I think somebody with a technical and design way of thinking is valued more and more. So I think someone who is able to get the financial knowledge and be interested in markets, and also have a technical, maybe some software skills would be extremely useful. And even if you don't, I think my advice in general would be to always ask questions. So that means either asking questions to people they know who are working in the industry, people who are more senior to them in school who might know more, or even themselves. Like when they think of an idea or think of a problem, they question themselves, think about what risks or what things you might have missed out, and then you bounce ideas off other people, and that's, I think, the best way to gain knowledge. Well, I think definitely graduates should have basic knowledge on what they want to do. I think people like it when they see someone who is driven towards a certain goal. So whether or not they want to be in trading or they want to be in sales, and maybe certain products that they find interesting. As with me, I joined in technology, and now we're in London and I'm in Hong Kong doing trading. So I'm not saying that I knew exactly what my path was going to be, and it's going to change. But I think having something in mind shows that you at least have the interest and you have the ambition to learn about it. And then another thing is to, I guess, show how well you can adapt to situations, because the markets move every single day. The industry is changing as we speak, and being able to adapt, I think, is very important.